for better discussion.
Seku Sherry
coming to talk.
Liberia, this is the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Seku Sherry coming to
Seku Sherry say, Liberia, this is the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Seku Sherry coming to talk.
Liberia, this is the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Seku Sherry coming to
Seku Sherry say, Liberia, this is the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion.
Seku Sherry.
Seku Sherry coming to talk.
Liberia, Seku Sherry coming to talk. Into information and education. Seku Sherry coming to talk. Liberia, Seku Sherry coming to talk. Good information. Information, entertainment, and education. Seku Sherry coming to talk.
Seku Sherry say, Liberia, this is the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion.
Seku Sherry.
Seku Sherry coming to talk.
From Monday to Friday, Liberia.
Seku Sherry coming to talk.
From Monday to Friday, Liberia.
Seku Sherry coming to talk.
From Monday to Friday, Liberia.
Seku Sherry coming to
Seku
talk.
Sherry say,
Liberia, this is the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion.
Seku Sherry.
Seku Sherry coming to talk.
Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Seku Sherry coming to talk.
Seku Sherry say,
Liberia,
listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk.
bringing sense.
Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion.
Seku Sherry.
Seku Sherry coming to talk.
Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Seku Sherry coming to talk.
Seku Sherry say,
Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia.
it is time to talk.
Bringing sense.
Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion.
Seku Sherry.
Seku Sherry coming to talk.
Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Seku Sherry coming to
Seku Sherry say,
Liberia,
listen to the voice of
Liberia, secretary coming to talk. Good information. Information in document. Education. Secretary coming to talk. Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Sekou Sherry coming to talk.
Sekou Sherry say,
Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense
to the issue for better discussion.
Sekou Sherry
coming to talk.
Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Sekou Sherry coming to talk.
Sekou Sherry say,
Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia.
it is time to talk.
Bringing sense
to the
Good evening, folks, and welcome to the show Issues of Today, right here on Voice of Liberia. I want to say thank you to every one of you tonight for joining us on the program Issues of Today, right here on Voice of Liberia. And indeed, I don't want to say my apologies for coming late, but because I've been putting things together for what we're going to be discussing and some of the facts we're going to be, bringing to every one of you, so we needed to come this time. But good evening. If you're just joining us, today is the very first time, I want to say good evening and welcome. If you're in Liberia and you're out of Liberia, I want to say good afternoon and I want to say good morning. It depends on where you found yourself, and it feels good to be here today, as there are lots of things happening in our country, Liberia. Like I said, some of the issues are good, some of the issues are bad. But how can we work as people to make the bad ones to be good and the good ones to continue to be good for the betterment of Liberia? And so tonight we have too many things to do. We'll do our chit chat now up to 6:30. At 6:30 we leave our main studios to go to our international desk to talk to our international correspondents from around the world. When we return, we will talk about the case, or the murder case involving Councillor Moses Scott. And there are new revelations coming up. And just so you know, Councillor Scott over the weekend was able to go at the headquarters of the Liberia National Police. So now it is clear, and thankfully, it has been rumored, but thankfully this time around, Councillor Gloria Musus cut us off. has been able to say this on an interview with some journalists when she appeared at the headquarters of the Liberia National Police on her way so we will also play you that. And a letter in my possession from the ECOWAS ambassador to Liberia. Wrote the Minister of Justice, bringing to his attention threat on her life. Can you imagine? And so we'll also go into that. We will read you that letter. It's in our possession. And this thing about the NPP, you know, every day we will say it is deepening as it gets new on a daily basis. So on today, the lawyer of Mayor Jefferson Koji, Councillor Arthur Johnson, had a press conference, and he raised the issue of some threat on the life of the Secretary General of the Congress of Democratic Change, in person of Jefferson Koji. We'll also weigh into that. We'll provide our analysis. And also in my possession is the letter from the resident representative ECOWAS Commission in Liberia. And the CC copy, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and also the President of ECOWAS Commission. You know, something is getting bigger. And if we're not careful as to how we take all we do to politicize it, we might be running into something different that could have a very bad image of our country. Because the way in which now it is beyond Liberia now, the international partners that are in our country, they are now they've written. One of them wrote the Justice Minister informing him of the threat. So we're going to that as well. Tonight we have a full package. And family members of Valley Tally, they've come up with a press release. We'll also tell you what it is. And a press release as well has come from Councillor Gloria Musu's card. You know, this thing is bringing lots of issues in our country, and we all need to treat it with care because it has to do with people characters. It has to do with the life of other people. Because when people come up and make these kinds of allegations, it brings up a lot of things to every one of us. So we'll shortly go to the international desk to talk to our correspondents across the world. When we return, now we will go into all of the issues. We'll talk about the NPP in passing. NPP came out with 2 releases. One is for and against. You have the tailors, you know, side of it. You have the bandit side of it. So you have 2 separate, you know, issues from the NPP. But someone will say it is not strange, you know. But the only thing that seemed to be different because the very first time when they suspended, quote unquote, the suspended Senator James Bundy. It was another person that was asked to serve as chairman, but this time around, you have another person. Okay, so let's go to the international desk now to talk to our international correspondents. When we return, then we know the number, direct. When we return, then we will go to somewhere else we will go into the nitty-gritties of our discussions here tonight on the show. So invite someone to listen. For those of you watching us, we want to say thank you. Invite someone to also join us. As a matter of fact, we're gonna have a fruitful presentation here tonight. So the very first person we're gonna go to will be Amadou Kante. Come here, Amadou Kante, who's gonna join us tonight, and we're gonna talk to him from the Gambia. Amadou is Voice of Liberia correspondent in the Gambia, and we're gonna join Amadou to fill us in with development from the Gambia, where President Adama Barrow has assured the country's business community of his government's commitment to create an enabling environment for them to strive and do what is needed in terms of providing them such an environment. And in that part of the world, Amadou Kante is Voice of Liberia Gambian correspondent. He's going to join us tonight to tell us more about what the president, his commitments. Is it a reality? Is it of reality from the president, Amadou? About what the president of the Gambia has been able to say. On the line now is Amadou Kante, Voice of Liberia Gambian correspondent. Amadou, good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight on the show from the Gambia.
Good evening, Sekou, and thank you very much for having me once again. Always a pleasure.
Now, the president of the Gambia, Adama Barrow, has assured the country's business community of his government's commitment to create an enabling environment for them to strive. Now, Amadou, how do you think the president's message will be received by the business community in the Gambia?
Well, thank you very much for having me once again. Well, I think the president's message would be received by the business community with a bit of hope, knowing that the country's economy, like many countries around the world, has been struggling for one reason or the other, especially the impact of the coronavirus pandemic, and of course the ongoing conflict in Ukraine has a great impact on the Gambia's economy. So the businesses back home here has been relatively struggling. So if all of a sudden the president said that at this point in time his government is open to make so that it will provide further an environment, of course, a better and enabling environment for the business to thrive, I think that would be a bit of hope, and of course also a great news to the business community here in the Gambia.
Now, tell us, what is the rationale of GRA organizing a taxpayer award in the country?
Yes, the Gambia Revenue Authority annual taxpayer award is more or less meant to be like a source of encouragement for the public and institutions and also organizations here to be regularly paying tax as expected. Gambia being a tax-based economy, highly relied on the economy for the government to, foot its bills or execute its functions. So if people are not paying tax, I think that is a problem for the government. And the GRA has been taxed as the government institutions to collect taxes across the country. So I think such an event is meant to motivate people to be paid or to be paying taxes, and those that have been so much doing so over the past year or so would be gathered in a night to be celebrated and also to be awarded in the presence of the whole nation and of course in the world at large to tell the Gambian that such individual or company has been doing the needful to pay the taxes as expected. So I think it's more or less to motivate or to inspire everybody, especially institutions, to be more, of course, to pay tax as expected to help the government fulfill its agendas.
In the global economic challenges faced around the world, how is business currently faring in the Gambia as we speak?
Well, business relatively in the Gambia, as we speak, is not doing well in some quarters. Like you have just mentioned in your question there, the impact of the coronavirus pandemic rightly hitting all economies around the world, and Gambia is not an exception. So business here in the Gambia is not doing well as expected, but yes, I think with the announcement of the president, it might be sound hopeful for the business economy. And also at the beginning of the new year, there are some bit of expectation that the country's economy would do well somehow. But apparently, like you said, business in the Gambia here is absolutely in a low state, if I can put it that way, for the simple fact that many of the public have been concerned and complain about the high inflation and the rising cost of living, which has been a big time issue here in the Gambia. So, yeah, the business in many quarters here in the small West African nation is not doing well as expected.
Thank you very much, Amadou Kante, for joining us tonight on the program. Okay, Amadou is Voice of Liberia correspondent. He's been on the line from the Gambia tonight on the show, giving us that update here on issues of today on Voice of Liberia 104.1. We go now to Sierra Leone to talk to John Wilfield, where President Dr. Julius Maada Bio, as a co-chair of the United Nations Conference on Least Developed Countries, has called for increased access to long-term financing and investments for LDCs. What he meant of this and how it has been received, John will start by giving us an insight about the conference. By the way, John joins us now from Freetown, Sierra Leone. John, good evening, and thank you tonight for joining us.
Thank you for having me on the show, Sekou.
Now, the president of Sierra Leone, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, as a co-chair of the United Nations Conference on Least Developed Countries, has called for the increased access to long-term financing and investments for LDLs. John, start by giving us an insight about the conference as we speak.
So the conference is ongoing as I speak, and it is the 5th United Nations Conference on the least developed countries. And this is a once-in-a-decade opportunity for these countries to accelerate what we call the sustainable development in the places where international assistance is needed and needed the most, and especially when it comes to the issue of achieving their full potential of the least developed countries, and as well helping them to make progress on the road to prosperity. So that is why, in fact, Sekou, they have themed this particular conference as from potential to prosperity. And within these 5 days that these least developed countries will be there, they'll be deliberating on issues having to do with young people, advancing new ideas, as well as raising new pledges and support when it comes to delivery on agreed commitments through the Doha Program of Action.
Why did the president, as co-chair, made this call for increased access to long-term financing and investments for least developed countries?
One of the things we will not shy away from, Sekou, is that many of these, if not all of the least developed countries in Africa or probably the world, they have similar challenges. So for President Dr. Julius Maada Bio, he pointed out that the numerous global vulnerabilities, and this includes growing inequality and poverty, hunger, armed conflict and terrorism, climate change and pandemics, and also the vulnerabilities which continue to impede the capacities and as well the progress of the LDCs towards sustainable development goals, and that the summit will provide solutions to tackle these vulnerabilities. So making such a clarion call is for big leaders like the G7, the G5, the G4 to see that there is a need for them to come in and help these least development countries, but more especially, Sekou, when we talk about debt relief. Many of these countries are into debt, but when they are relieved from this debt, they can be able to do things that are sustainable.
Now, how would this impact the least developed nations, knowing fully well that many of them, like you said, are still in debt despite efforts for debt relief?
So interestingly, we have what we call, remember, we moved from the Millennium Development Goals to Sustainable Development Goals. And within the Sustainable Development Goals, there are certain goals or targets that these least developed countries are yet to meet, that we call the threshold. For instance, when you talk about SDG 4, that deals with education, SDG 16, that deals with justice, many of these least development countries are still struggling to meet these targets. So, because when you talk about these goals, you talk again about investment. Many could not invest in them because they're already in debt. For them to be able to invest in this, they need support from the global funds. But how can they seek for this support when they are yet to see how best they could address some of the debts they still owe? So if these requests put forward by them are heeded to, just like what the king in Qatar did, then many of them could reach the targets for the SDGs, but especially SDG 4 and SDG 16.
John, with this request from President Dr. Julius Maada Bio as co-chair of the United Nations Conference, will it be granted from the way in which you've seen things going?
So interestingly, within the global hemisphere, it's like a give and take situation. So in as much as these least developed countries do not have cash at hand, but they have certain natural things that they need, like for instance, gold, diamond, bauxite, and the like. So it's a proposal put forward. And we know that these big countries from the G7, the G5, they must have interest in certain natural products in these least developed countries. So we are still looking forward whether these bigger nations will yield or heed to some of the things put forward. But like I did say, it's a request. They are not coercing them, but yet still they are calling upon them to see reason to relieve them from debt.
Thank you very much, John Whitfield from Sierra Leone. He's Voice of Liberia correspondent in Sierra Leone there, filling us in with what the president of Sierra Leone has been able to mention or request made by the president. And also he's the co-chair of the United Nations Conference that is currently taking place in Freetown, Sierra Leone. We'll go to Cameroon to talk to Alfonso Tibek. A business tycoon is currently being detained at the Yaoundé maximum principal prison in Kodinju, awaiting trial in the case involving the killing of journalist Matiz Zogo. We're going to join Alfonso Tibek, who's our Cameroonian correspondent, who's going to fill us in. Press freedom is something we need not to play with, and we hope we can have Alfonso on the line from Cameroon to fill us in with this development as how is said and how far they've gone, what are indications now as this individual is said to be behind bars, what the citizens are saying about this process. More of such we want to get from Alfonso Tibek tonight on the program, Issues of Today, right here on Voice of Liberia 104.1. Alfonso joins us now from Bamenda in Cameroon. Alfonso, good evening and thank you for joining us tonight.
Good evening, Sekou. Thanks very much for having me today.
This news about a journalist being killed by a business tycoon is not encouraging news coming from Cameroon. Apart from the journalists, do we know the identities of other suspects who've been sent to the Yaoundé maximum prison due to the killing of the journalists in that part of the country?
Yes, Sekou, the accused were sent to the security prison facility after they had appeared before the Yaoundé military court for an overnight hearing on March 2nd. And following the hearing, we gathered that the military judge charged with the case ordered for the transfer of some of the accused persons to the Kondingi prison that's on provisional detention. Just to let you know that it was actually the third time the accused, including the head, the Director General for External Research, Maxime Eko, Lieutenant Colonel Justin Dangwe, and a host of other members of the DGRE that were linked to the killing were appearing in front of the military judge. It should be recalled that Mugu Belinga and his co-defendants were arrested February 6th and incarcerated at the detention facility of the State Secretariat for Defense said, and the appearance of all of these men on Thursday before the government commissioner was the third since they were arrested. And they first appeared at the Yaoundé Military Court on February 14, where they spent nearly 10 hours before later being taken to their cells, as they said.
What have the authorities been saying with regards to the case?
Well, it's been a case that has actually drawn national and international concern. Government spokesperson recently said that in a communication March 1, reaffirmed that government will do everything possible to bring the killers to book. Martin Ezogo was a journalist, popular, and he had been criticizing some authorities and some business moguls in Cameroon about corruption, embezzlement of public funds. And since these suspects were arrested, investigations have been ongoing, and the Cameroonians want justice to be done as far as this killing is concerned. And today marks exactly 46 days since the body of the journalist was discovered in Yaoundé.
Alfonso, could you remind us of the circumstances under which the journalist was killed?
Yes. The journalist was 50 years old. He was the managing director of a privately owned radio station known as Amplitude FM in Yaoundé, and hosted a daily program known as Embouteillage, that is traffic jam. The business mogul who has been sent to the Kondingi prison repeatedly is a friend of several ministers, Sekou. He has holdings in banking, finance, insurance, and property. The journalist was abducted on January 17, just outside the police station in the suburbs of the capital, Yaoundé. And about 5 days later, his heavily mutilated corpse was found in a neighborhood not far from Yaoundé. And just days before he was killed, he had told listeners about threats he faced in the country. So the arrest of the business mogul came after several people were also detained as far as the affair is concerned. And also to let you know that the murder actually sparked an outcry, including a protest by some 30 leading Cameroonians over the government's long tradition of actually, some sort of trivializing impunity and accepting atrocities. President Paul Biya has been in power for more than 40 years, and as far as press freedom index is concerned, Cameroon is ranked around 118th out of 180 countries across the world in the 2022 ranking.
Thank you very much, Alfonso Tibet from Cameroon. Hope you wash out and do what is right so as to have you in a safe zone.
Exactly, Sekou. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. Alfonso Tibet is Voice of Liberia, Cameroonian correspondent. To call it a day on our international updates. We move on now. We want to say thank you. Thank you very much for those of you. More to come on tomorrow, at which time we'll talk to more of our correspondents on the show, Issues of Today, only on Voice of Liberia 104.1. My name is Sekou. I'm Sekou Sharif. And, okay, folks, after our international correspondent, let us now come to Liberia. Let us now talk about the issues. Let us not talk about the issues. And let us now come to the issue here. One thing I want to talk about first, which is very, very important. It is about a letter in my possession. I'm going to read you this communication, folks. And I want you to put aside your differences, your feelings, or your political alignment. But if we are not careful, we might plunge this country into what we are not to. Now, our international partners, they've now been threatened. I'm going to take up my time, not today, but I will take up some of my time to discuss a character that worth nothing, a character that has lost trust in the body politics of our country, and that only live on tarnishing characters of people for personal reasons. And I'll let the Liberian people know some of the reasons why an individual, spineless, like Costa, has a personal. Now, some of you don't know what we know, right? And I'm the only journalist, and I'm about to say this. I will give Costa a month, and I will deal with all of his dealings. I will not say anything about him without facts. Anything I say about him here, I will provide facts. And I'll give you people the reasons why this spineless individual called himself a radio personality, why he keeps the hatred for certain people in the Liberian government. It is beyond what you are seeing or what you will hear. But I will tell you, and I will prove you, and I will show you pieces of evidence of what I will say to you. And I will tell you some things, and it will shock you. You will make your own determination if you will take such an individual serious. And this is what some of the guys in Unity Party, they were saying to me. They said, you think we can trust that man? He said, that man, we are using him. And when we succeed, that's the time he will get to know. What kind of man he's not trustworthy? He goes to a place where all things are good. Once his demand is not met, it becomes a problem. And I'll explain to you some of the things that he did. And I'll also tell you reasons. Did I say reason? I said reasons why this man will continue to give lies about people in this government. And no one should be responsible for his shortcomings. If you are a man, you cannot do the man work. Somebody would need to help you to do the man work. And so now Costa should be asking himself, what is the problem he has as a man? I'm saying this to me. It is on his page. And he supports. And has been able to go to the extent, listen, what kind of man is this? No matter your differences with people, you do not have control over life. But this is the only man that prays for the death of another person openly. This man has prayed for the death of the president. He has prayed for the death of Jefferson Koji. Once he's against you, but he now won't tell the truth to the Liberian people. I will say the reason why they may not let Koji Bene. And if that man cannot be a man to do the main thing, he should not blame someone for his misfortune. You know what they can say, Kekele? I will let the Liberian people know. I will let the Liberian people know. And the reason why you think I don't want to talk about this guy, because he's less important. I don't want to waste my time on him, but it's also good that we talk and let the public know and straighten the contradictions about this misguided, confused, misplaced individual that feels that he has a saying that can make a change. But I will let you know from tomorrow. He needs to tell the people what is the main issue that he will continue to create his own story and even praying for the death of people. No, sometimes you don't want to say, they say, you won't be personal. But the very man can be personal. He needs to tell the people what led to his divorce. Oh, and listen, there are other people who will look at the issues, but people like Henry will deal with him and deal with him personally. Oh, yes. You say you man. You know, you can't talk. So why I say I'm saying such? Here's a simple reason. I have post here from the very Costa. You know, I need to deal with this issue that has to do with the resident representative of ECOWAS. It is very important. Then we'll move on to what the place. This is what the man posted. Now, I continue to say this, no matter our differences, we should not pray for the evil of others. No matter what the issues are, we can disagree to agree, but you cannot pray for the death of another person. You don't have control over it. This is what the man said. He said, Jefferson Koji is the most dangerous person in Liberia. If we, in the opposition, and he feels so entitled, and he enjoys himself calling himself from the opposition. How many persons trust you, by the way, in the very opposition you find yourself? In the very unity party, people don't trust you. That's the reason why they will use you to reach to where they want to reach, because you are not trustworthy. You can somersault anytime. You have no value. You can fall prey to anything. But listen, I will bring some things out about this Duke. I'm ready for him now. I'll bring some things out about him. I will let you know. I will let you know at a certain point in time that they wanted to send this Duke from the United States. How he went and did a false relationship. I have everything. Now, when people try to be personal, it is always important you beat some sense into their heads. You beat sense into their heads, then they will get to themselves. This man entered the opposition. He damaged the opposition. He joined on ANC and said all the worst things about Mr. Alexander Cummings. This same man said the worst things about Joseph Numa Boakai. Said the man is a dead man walking. I don't know how you go join a dead man walking now. To tell you how this man, all he says, it is about himself, not the interest of the people he says he speaks about. So listen to what the man said on his page. And that is the reason why the chancellor of Jefferson Koji said today that they need to answer. But you cannot blame them because we have a weak justice minister in our country. There's the same justice minister that shares information with people like Costa. So what do you expect from the justice minister? But you don't blame the justice minister. Mr. President, we're moving towards elections. Get people in positions that will be of no help, that will create your government more harm than good. It is your government. Jefferson Koji is the most dangerous person in Liberia. If we, in the opposition, don't find a way to stop him, he will order the murder of more innocent people and use fear and intimidation to weaken us. He is the greatest threat to our nation. You listen? Now, it didn't stop there. You get another one. You know, I don't want to waste my time on these kinds of people. You know, they call the other one, what they call Ambassador Terry Genesis. They one in Liberia working in Ellen government. He stole. And I will give you the record. He stole. Who then went to go defend him here? Like Councilor Arthur Johnson. He stole. That, look at the type of man now sitting now talking, say, oh, people do this, people do that. But you don't blame the people because the relevant institutions, they're not willing to do what is right to get the people to answer to some of the things they did. You listen to what the man says. He said, if nobody kills Koji now, he will keep killing innocent people while the CDC police covers up his crimes. Then the interesting part here, so it gives you a clear picture that now this thing is a plain thing that they plan maybe against Jefferson Koji, either maybe to have him killed. So on his very show, when the very man, the same person, they were having a conversation, he and one of his kids, who is the co-host to him, went to the extent and said barrage of issues, unfunded things. Then you have one Bill Kazan. He went to the extent because it is what that has been said, been posted, and it is what they planned. So this is what Bill Kazan wrote under the live feed of this individual. He said, I want Jefferson Koji to send the ECOWAS ambassador 6 feet. When they say send someone 6 feet, it means to get the president, they might go on the ground. Then the international community will wake up. You see how the oppositions are very unserious? Now, they don't have anything to convince the Liberian people, which is clear. The only thing they have to do is to use propaganda. And be it that the government is very slow and she's not on top of a game, so most of the propagandas, they are working against the very government. When last the opposition, they've been able to tell you what exactly can they do? No, they will not tell you. But you know what they will do? They will make up lies to make you to believe that there are things happening, even though they are not happening the way they claim that they are happening in Liberia. It is within the case of Koji. Listen, you will never hear anything good from Costa towards Koji. And you cannot blame Koji for Costa's misfortune. Costa needs to tell the people why he hates Koji. He needs to tell the Liberian people why he hates Koji. Your thing say that because of, they say Koji can't clean the city, that because that boy hate Koji. No. He has something that he has not been able to tell the Liberian people. And I will tell the Liberian people back by facts. You won't be man. You're not man. Then you won't blame people for you not being man? So, they've gone to the extent now, not just stopping on people like Jefferson Koji, they've gone to the extent now on the international community, threatening the life of foreign international partners in our country. And the newest person they've done it to is the resident representative of ECOWAS. They said Koji should go and kill this lady. Now, someone will say, why already will just say, Koji do this, do that. You know why? No one in this government, out of this government, in the opposition, can show you or link or proof to where Koji has stolen the money. Because that a debate they can act on people, right? They will say, you can steal. You can do this. You can do that. Nobody in the government, I'm not just saying in this government, out of this government, in the opposition, out of the opposition, to show you or link or to give you justifiable reasons where Koji has stolen the money that he has he has been indicted for. So the only debate they will give to you is because they think that Liberia is gullible, that people can accept anything and say, the man killed. But none of them will prove to you when, where, and how, where the pieces of evidence where Koji has killed someone. So because Henry Henry is not the man in which people say him to be, he wants to blame someone for his own misfortune. You come to the extent and say, now let me read you the ECOWAS letter. It says, ECOWAS, and the other one in French. You know, when they put the ECOWAS in English, then they can put the French on there, so that one in French. There's an office of the press of the resident representative of the president of ECOWAS Commission in Liberia. ECOWAS as of blah, 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 First Street, St. Monrovia, Liberia. Councillor Frank Musa Dean Jr., Minister of Justice, Payne Avenue, 14th Street, St. Monrovia, Liberia, March 3rd, 2023. Dear Minister, attention to threat on the life of the ECOWAS resident representative in Liberia. Do you understand how you understand this? Listen, I wonder how the opposition people can understand and comprehend well. Is this how we're going to go? Is this what the opposition will do to unseat President Weah? Is this the way they think they can use to unseat President Weah? By making all these kinds of things? Now they've not stopped this thing on Koji now. They now go to the international community now. So maybe the next one they will go to another person. Listen to the letter that Romo wrote. It said, I bring you compliments from the resident representation office of the ECOWAS Commission in Liberia. I write to bring to the minister's attention is social media. And they've been very specific. They've been very specific. They did not say allege. And that being specific, it connects who? Henry, because it is on his page that he said all these things that encourage the people to go and threaten the life of the resident representative of ECOWAS in Liberia. This good for nothing human being. This man that cannot do what man should do. Yes. Now, here's it. Is that I read to bring to the ministry's attention a social media comment made by an individual on the Costa show on Thursday. Yes, it's so good they included his name. So let the people know this Duke. Let them know that rhetorics. And you know, God can sleep. You know, a former lawmaker, Abraham Mazari, said that God pitied their soul. You'll be looking for one person and take God put you into some kind of problem. You will not want to do anything. They want another country now. They want that you're in the international community now. You're coming be on it now. And you're not go to the woman, you're not start threatening the international people. And then you can say, God also make it the people see you. They want you to say that government. They want you to say that Koji. Good for nothing human being. I will take my time to deal with Costa. I will do it. I've done it before and I'll do it again. I'll beat some sense into his head. Now, I read to bring to the ministry's attention a social media comment made by an individual on the Costa show on Thursday, March 2, 2023, where a Facebook user named Bill Kazon commented with a threat against my life. The comment started, I want Jefferson Koji to send the ECOWAS ambassador 6 feet. Then the international community will wake up. Attached here with is a picture of the said comment. The above statement is considered a grave threat to my life and raises serious security implications for both the person of the resident representative and staff of the ECOWAS resident representative office. Accordingly, I request that the Ministry of Justice kindly take steps to investigate this matter and assure you of my cooperation in this regard. I look forward to your urgent attention to this threat on my life and possible security implications for ECOWAS staff in the resident representation office here in Liberia. Honorable Minister, please accept the assurance of my highest regard. Yours sincerely, Josephine Nkrumah, resident representative ECOWAS Commission in Liberia, and she CC copied the Minister of Foreign Affairs, President of the ECOWAS Commission. Listen, did you listen to what I just gave out? Now, this is not about you think you hate someone, you want to bring them down, you want to do anything to them. Like I said, we all, when I open the lines, you can disagree with me. Let us disagree to agree. But we should not threaten. So now people showing themselves. They that say somebody can kill, but they the one not showing themselves. Because there's nothing being proven that Koji has killed or Koji is involved to kill it. The chief liar for them, which is Jerome Vardia said the man can kill, the man was into the stuff. That argument was being proven wrong. But you're that say you can kill that the other people killing, that you're the one that will get proof on that you're saying that you will kill the man. That you're the one saying that you have to do this to the man. We have the facts. You see how naive and crazy you people are when it comes to politics because of power, because you Costa, you cannot do what men should do, so you want to blame the man for your misfortune. How did you manage? You cannot sustain your relationship for a year. Is that Koji problem? Is that his problem? Is that his problem? If you cannot control what you should control, why do you want to blame someone else for that? Now, these are some of the reasons why you will see Henry will now. I will bring it also. I will bring it also. I will let the Liberian people know. I will bring it also. The reason why this ball is better with Koji. Even you gave him a chance today. If that ball can do real voodoo, zulu, everything, that ball will take Koji life today. It can pin his soul. It can go inside him, Google, and you continue to feed it. Because the life he has and the life you have, the both of you don't have control over life. So now, the resident representative of ECOWAS has written the Minister of Justice. Now, they wrote the Minister of Justice on the 3rd. Today is the 6th. Nothing of such has been said. That a concern or an issue has been raised on the life of the ECOWAS representative. We've received a communication and we hope to launch an investigation, or we start a launch. The minister is the worst thing ever happened to Liberia. But you don't blame the people. This is the same man that was a lawyer for injured Tokpa case. And today, people were arguing. They said, oh, that rape, that murder, and everything. So you think that they judge the minister or be somebody serious? Eh? Their justice minister will make the people to believe that we don't have law and order in our country. The justice is not working because you have everyone doing anything they want to do and nothing seems to happen. Now, the resident representative of ECOWAS is one of our serious international partners. So let me see if the justice minister will value the friendship of the other people and risk the life of this woman, that they cannot do anything as a government and a country about what this woman has raised. Do you know the implication it has on our country? But now, the justice minister should be able to, in fact, raise the issue and inform the Liberian people that they've received a communication and this is what they've done. So you know what's going to happen now? The people are going to buy the sympathy of the resident representative. She's right. And go against the government because you have one dummy justice minister that cannot do nothing. That he says there, the only time you see him, go say to her, what kind of street to singer, this is the worst thing that has happened to our country, Liberia, to have this man as justice minister that has not lived from almost all the bad things that happen in our country. So how the man here will fight against bad? The bad things, all that happen, the man here inside. You know, yeah, Gloria Muzuska said the very first place she run out of the justice minister. Then the justice minister gave her 2 police to go to the house. Eh? Oh God. The justice minister is supposed to be the first person at the police. The justice minister too, you could not call the police and say, okay, the first responder in our country, it is the police when it comes to the law enforcement. Then the justice minister took onto himself. It is, you are the head of the security apparatus or the police, but you don't have that exclusive right to just take such a decision. It should have come from the police to your office. That's how it works. And so they've written the justice minister, but you're not getting nothing from inside. Nothing. The other one here, Musa, you play from the one here, that it will bring a disgrace. That the representative, the resident representative of ECOWAS, now your normal thing you can do in Liberia. Now your normal thing, you get ECOWAS, you get serious people then watching you. When you want to satisfy your picking hearing over the woman's life, go ahead and do it again and show to the Liberian people. Yeah? Go ahead and show to the Liberian people that you can do nothing. Yeah? Go ahead and do it. So that is it. Because of the hate that these buckers they have against Koji, they will be doing it until they put themselves in problem. And that's there where we're reaching. And you're not doing it now. We get record on you now. You say you're okay, Koji. Nobody talking, oh. No civil society coming, oh. No advocates coming, say, no, you're supposed to do the one. No matter the problems, no matter what the issues are, go to the ballot box, convince the Liberian people to vote for your candidate, but don't threaten the life of another person. No one will say anything about it. Nobody will say anything about it. They've said it. It is proven. They posted it on their pages. They've said it during the programs. And no one seemed to say anything about it. There you have it. 0770. And let me say this before I go to the line. So we return, we'll talk about the case involving Councillor Musu's card. No matter our differences, let me say it here tonight. You can like me, you can hate me, it is up to you. But should not pray for my death, I should not pray for bad for you. We can disagree to agree. If you think, say, President Weah should not be the president of this country, you can convince the people, you go to the ballot box and let it vote for the next president. But you cannot pray for the downfall or wickedness or whatsoever of the president or anyone in the government. You can disagree. I will sit here and tell you, say, the opposition, they're not serious. Because from all indications, they cannot do nothing. They're a bunch of unserious people. But I will not pray for their evil. I will not pray for bad towards them. That is not the way it should be. 0770-907-907, 0770-907-907, 0880-907-907, 0880-907-907 are the two numbers. Now it has gone to another level. Now you get the international people now. You go threaten the woman. Hello?
Yeah,
good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening, sorry, my brother. Thank you very much. William, the people defender. And I join you from my end. This is my long car. Thank you very much. They just means the same man yesterday when you brought the thing order. You say, then you were in jail, free money go is in the Brempo money. The men are stop off. The men when the people I got in cartoon, you want to say last time I told the minister, you can't do a secret thing in the bro. You can't give me a lot of information to the opposition. But say who they want, you will bring up. And you want to? You go then pray. They met there, they don't want to tell you we already know. But we are. These are people that will make the poor to hate you, to spoil you that day. They're in your government, they're working against you. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's take another person here. Hello.
Hello, Sekou. Good evening, Sekou.
Good evening. Let's hear you.
My name is Mohammed Kane, and I'm joining you from Central Monrovia.
Mohammed, go ahead, please.
Sekou, you have said it all. Sekou, you see, when it comes to the opposition issue, just what you stated, there are a bunch of unserious people. Sekou, it reminds me on the just election in Nigeria. Hello?
Go ahead, you live.
It just reminds on the just election in Nigeria. Sekou, you see how disintegrated the opposition were in Nigeria. In fact, the two guys who went for the first time, President running mate at the Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, against Buhari in 2019, they almost defeated that. But 2023 is only coming as a union. They went their separate way. And that reminds me, 2019, when the opposition were coming together, 2023, it was manifested. Now, looking at the way they are disintegrated, I can tell you for free. 20 days or coming October 2023, so now when they beat, they will say they cheated. So I can tell anybody in Nigeria election, there was no cheating. It was fair. 6.7 million, 6.1 million, you combine everything, it will get to almost 30 million plus. So
thank you, my brother. Let me take another person here. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, I come here, brother.
Go ahead.
My brother, what you say, of course, thank you. According from Ghana VFPR, Roberto G. Johnson. No development can be rebuilt.
Oh, the man left the line. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Let's hear you.
Thank you, Sekou. This is the voice of Gino F. Devlo. And I do join you from my usual resident district number 4, Swallow County. I'd like to appreciate you for your deliberations. Sekou, you see, when we come to the national discourse, let us speak with sincerity and do with personality, right? And that had to do with Coastal. Coastal is someone went on Coastal radio station or Coastal program and said something. You shouldn't have brought Coastal on that issue. It is a person that on that comment on that post.
No, no, listen, you know what happened? Let me say this. I will let you to talk, please. I beg you, listen. He started it and he raised it. You understand me?
Was that Coastal that said Koji should be killed, or the person that made a comment?
He has said it on his page. He has said it during his program, and he continues to even say it.
Listen. I mean, you are the one of the journalists that I follow. Like I told you the other days, you people are the one that we are following, and we studying the journalists at the University of Liberia. But at times, the word you use on people, you have to be much very careful.
No, Uncle Costa, listen, Uncle Costa, you gave me chance. Don't tell me listen, my man. Why you can't tell me listen? You listen to me. I'm hosting this show. I gave you the time to talk. Don't tell me to listen. It doesn't work that way. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Edwin T. Molova. I come from Cuba.
I will even use worse words on Costa than what I've done. Go ahead, Dad. Let's hear you. Good evening.
Yeah, I really listen to your analysis, but the only problem I have with you is that including the opposition about the threat made by Costa and his follower.
No, but
the letter that you read just very sure to me that the opposition is not involved with the situation because the letter pointed out an individual, not opposition.
Okay,
that's
listen.
The point I want to make.
Who is Costa to the opposition?
Well, Costa is a member of the opposition.
Okay, so when he says something and someone follow what he says, and a threat comes out of what he says, who
Costa
do you refer to?
Costa is a member of the opposition.
No, I just asked you a question, sir.
Okay, but
sir,
the resident representative did not mention the opposition.
They mentioned the man show. Didn't you listen to me? They mentioned the man show.
Okay.
They mentioned the man show that the men do the thing.
Yeah, the Costa is the one. Costa is follower who is threatening to saying
that he the one started before someone follow him.
That's true, but shifting the blame on the opposition, this man disagreement with you.
Okay, listen, maybe you think the choice of words, but I don't want to say sorry for this, Dad. Please, you know the reason why? Because Costa is from the opposition.
I agree with you. That is 100%.
So, for example, right? For example, if I sit on the radio here and say anything, they will not just say Sekou, they will say Voice of Liberia because I work with Voice of Liberia.
Okay,
so he's from the opposition.
That's your point, right?
You understand me now, Papa?
Yeah, I understand, but my point too is that the letter you read, the letter said the one I want you to underline is an individual. Never say the opposition, but an individual, because the letter did measure that an individual 13 of life.
Yes, you are right, but the mention Costa's program, and also I'm saying to you, Costa is from which one of the groups in Liberia?
Okay, he's with the opposition. That's 100%.
So anything he does, or what he's doing it for the interest of the opposition. Okay, thank you, Papa. Thank you for understanding my dad. You know, he's doing it for the opposition. The opposition benefits from what he's doing. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Gino Gavler, you cut me off, Sekou.
No, I needed to take another person because you are telling me to wait. I'm not listening to you. Hello? Hello? Okay, this person. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Sekou.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Yeah, this is Emmanuel Richardson and our phone from Upper Carwell.
Emmanuel, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. You see, I can remember when Freedom FM was reporting certain things. They did not say it was Freedom FM. They said it was the government who told Freedom FM. In fact, they started insulting the certain person. They started saying all kinds of things. If Costa knew his platform, they would try to connect the opposition. They say, oh, don't say it. But when it comes to other platforms, they will say that the government, look, I just sorry for people like Costa and other guys who are running with hate. If the guys don't manage themselves, they will always find themselves in problem. You see what's happening right now?
Oh, yeah? They now go to the international community now.
Yeah, you know how it takes for the ECOWAS representation in Liberia to complain you for a threat on her life. You know what you're talking? Look, our brother got to slow down on the power thing here. Look, yes, when God said you will win the election, you will win the election. Look, you will get in trouble before you win the election. Get in Martin. You know what you're talking? In fact, no, I just say good. Thank you, man. Thank you, brother.
Okay, brother. Thank you very much. On zero people there. It is who comes to that car. Hello.
Hello, how are you doing, brother?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Morris Nimland. Sekou, let me tell you something this afternoon.
The attack against Kosa this afternoon is not real from here. Let me be very frank with you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Angoma Super from Johnson Day.
Mangoma, go ahead, Mama. Let's hear you.
Thank you. Plenty. God will bless you.
Amen,
And God bless you all to do the investigation. I also tell God, thank you to move the trouble over to where here. Because all the opposition, the Johnson Day will let you the opposition. The people say that John we are the one that play Johnson coach in that woman how to okay. When we walking, they're not smarty, they're talking. They're not smarty, but tell God, thank you, God have proof in said today. And I asking them to ask God for mercy because if you hate somebody too much, when you not take time, you will take that behind that person. Let God forgive them and God have mercy on them. Thank you, Sego. God will bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I was talking from what I was talking, I say.
Okay, let's go to the international line and take this person on. This person. Do we have the person? Hello?
Yeah, hello, Shegu. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, good evening. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Okay, so Shegu, my name is Cyrus calling from Asia Pacific.
Let's hear you, brother.
Yeah, so Shegu, thanks. I'm listening to what all you have said. So Shegu, for me, the parent house with Liberians or with our law in Liberia, if you check the Liberia cyber law from 1970, but Liberia cyber law having been implemented when indeed people will be held responsible for anything that you post on social media that go negative against someone else's life or against someone else's, I call it information corridor. But actually, you guys have to start telling the Liberians about how cyber law is. I will share you some PDF about how cyber law can be implemented and what as a crime is involved in cyber law. Because like what you said, I want to hear that post. I even screenshot what you are discussing now about the post you made recently. And actually, Liberians have to be Liberians are very need to be open. Our neighboring country, Ghana, Sierra Leone, they got strong cyber law. When the any post that you made against someone else's life or against someone else's, they take cyber law, which is the cyber investigator, take it as a crime against you. Once they found every evidence and they do regard reconnaissance, which of course was cybersecurity gathering information, and they will get a form for forensic investigation. If you delete that post, or within the arrogant or within the phone database itself, that information can still be gathered from that, and then what as evidence, prosecute it to court, and then once you find guilty, you go to jail or you pay for the damages. So good. I need thanks for you guys. Keep getting Liberians people the awareness, and then keep informing Liberians about what is unfolding and how cyber crimes it is.
Okay, thank you very much, my brother. We'll come to Liberia back and talk to this person. Yeah, hello, good evening.
Yeah, they just were calling from District 13.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the issue of Koji, I don't know. Seriously, there's a serious problem between Koji and Jefferson and Bodio and Costa.
No, Costa own the problem. You know why? Costa cannot do what he should do. His own problem as it gov his hair, he wants to blame Koji for it. But at the appropriate time, I will tell the Liberian people why they say they board their hate their man like this. Oh, my papi left the line. Papi, you supposed to be on the line. I just wanted to tell you the thing. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Let's hear you, sir.
This is Mr. Raymond Sorry, I got it from Singapore this evening.
Go ahead.
Siku, I don't think Mr. Henry Pedro Costa, who will soon be a master degree holder, will be that naive to make that post for Mr. Jefferson Koji.
Hey, my man, they make this in another post.
I believe that, and Henry Costa, he's a man, he's a humanitarian, and he's a man that always believes in saying facts.
He's a man that worthy. That believe in what? You really confuse you two, Jella the male. Hello?
Good afternoon, Segu.
Good evening, sir. Let's hear you.
Man, you talking good afternoon, Segu. This is Wesley. Me calling from District 13.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Segu, we discussing contact this afternoon, fighting about the main Facebook post.
What about the politician you first?
His threat towards the mayor. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. His threat towards the mayor, and also on that stuff, you had the resident representative also being threatened. Hello.
Hello. Yeah. How are you?
Yeah. Good evening.
Thank you. Just check because you're joining from Barabé Jarvis.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. You live.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
You're breaking, sir. Please do some adjustment. Yeah, go ahead. We can manage.
What the occurrence as compared to the opposition because the job where everyone accused us. I want to say this to you.
So your man try to get custard from Moyo, but once in there, the problem will come on your head because he been doing it for you.
Hello?
Yes, I said you try to get custard from Moyo because once he's doing it for you.
I can hear you.
Okay, please do adjustment with your line, please. You coming in. Myself can't do anything about it. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, my name is Louis calling from South Street.
Calling from South Beach?
From South Street.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. You know, times like this and times like this, people that are here Costa, we are not thinking about them.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Liberians are thinking how they could get
Move from your monitor small, mama. You coming in bad. Just move from your monitor small. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't be hearing yourself. Turner.
Yeah, I am far away.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, times like this, we are thinking how we will get free and fair election in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Our president, who have made us to know better, we are thinking how best we can practice us to go further, to do things that we have never seen in this country. People are hearing Costa there, and who are these people? These people, they just got together to make sure that the stronghold in behind our president, for them to break down. They are done it to Maggie. They feel that they can hunt the guys one by one, and which is a lie. It's a plain blank lie, because we listen to that investigation. As you said, the foreign people come to investigate a case here, because we know Jefferson Coaching, he will send somebody to go kill somebody. So, I mean, let us find something that will improve our lives. Be telling us about
Okay, Mama. Thank you very much. Let me take another person. We're going to take a few more calls, then we transition now. Hello?
Good evening, Sekou.
Good evening, sir.
Sekou, you're not doing justice to me tonight.
But they played an encore, brother.
But I did not in my thought and you cut me off.
So go ahead now. So how you manage to not cut you off?
But you been holding my line once. If I was speaking, you hold my line.
Listen. So I can just hold you on the line there and be talking different things.
That's not an issue. Not forget about that.
Tell me sorry for it, brother, because you lie on my name.
Okay, sorry.
You go ahead.
Okay, Sekou. You are one of the person that I very admire. For your business, Sekou, I told you the other days that you guys are one with your fellow journalists at the university because of the way you speak on issues. Your thought. You are one of the leftmost journalists in Liberia. This is why I follow you on a daily basis. Not because we put money in our phone to call or voice Liberia. Not because of that. We are not really saying to listen to. But Costa, I'm not saying what Costa is doing Liberia. Some of the things Costa is doing is right. But if Costa is having show and someone went on her post and comment on something, deal with that person. And also you are blaming the opposition that we are both of fool in opposition. No, don't do that.
Okay, brother, let me ask you this question, yeah? Everything that he does, is he not doing it in the interest of the opposition? Let me read you one of his posts. Maybe you're not still getting what I'm saying here. So then you will agree with me that I'm right to even use beyond opposition issue. This is one of the posts from Costa. He said, Jefferson Koji is the most dangerous person in Liberia. If we, in the opposition, is it not the opposition, sir?
He used our word if. That if we in the opposition. The man is using the word Koji is most
Hello, sir. You
Listen,
said we should not refer to the opposition, right? But this man is posting and making mention and including the opposition in his post as if to say he's speaking on behalf of the opposition.
The man is not an official spokesperson of the opposition, right?
Oh, so that bad thing you're not over here, eh? And a good thing you're over here, eh?
Listen to me now. Listen to me, Sekou. Listen to me. Costa is an individual. Costa is an individual. If Costa say a thing, you should deal with him personally. Obviously, what I'm saying, the post that the comment that the person put on a Costa post, that's what I'm saying.
And you still not capturing, you not stay capturing this. It is because of what he discussed that encourage those of the people. Now, and I brought a topic, and what we're talking on, right?
We are discussing it.
If I couldn't come up with this topic, we couldn't be discussing this. So because he brought a topic and he went depth into it, that's the reason why another person was encouraged to even go to the extent to have threatened the life of the resident representative of ECOWAS. So they made un post. He speaks as if to say he speaks on behalf of the opposition. So y'all know what you're supposed to do? Y'all need to tell him, say, when you're talking, say yourself. Don't say opposition, yeah?
But let's see, if you say Costa view is different from the opposition. Those Costa is the members of the opposition. But Costa cannot officially speak for the opposition. Costa said,
so we should tell me, we should turn me as unserious, right?
The reason why Costa said that there's a lot of things Koji need have been later.
Okay, so are there being proof? Are there being proof, evidence to authenticate all the things they've said about him?
This is what the other days I told you about Jerry Verdier. I said these people have to be called for a cautionary to provide the necessary evidence they have.
Okay.
I told you that.
Thank you very much, and I do appreciate. Thank you very much. I respect you for your boldness. Let me take another person. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
This is Lawrence Spencer, my good friend and brother from ANC.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm in Johnson.
Go ahead, Chief. Go ahead, boss man.
Yeah. But comrade today, but without the Finland, so
yeah, you right to disagree, comrade.
So that means
you want to defend your man because I say your political leader that I'm serious, man.
No, but Sekou, let me finally disagree with you on two principles, right?
Okay.
The first principle here is Mr. Henry Costa does not work for the ANC. We are categorically say that stand with our number that his support in the opposition is solely and fully towards the Unity Party. So that's the first thing that I wanted to establish. Everybody to put all oil in the same bracket and try to labor the action of the thing. I take serious attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, I think you just make this point for us, right? Because in your last statement to the comrade who are on the line, you said the man who did a post. I hate to say. So I mean, I love it when you were speaking. So that one line what you said, but because it's conditional. I hate to say I'm cutting you verbatim, right? That's what you just said. So meaning the brother is purporting to be the spokesperson of the opposition, but he is not.
But why again name and shame the man?
So 1 minute. Let me just let on this talk. So even if we to agree that as you are on the same bracket opposition, fine. Whether it's supposed to me or not, that go by the argument I work for all the opposition people. But stay in doctor, stay a fair chance to speak for the opposition as a whole, because if you come to the opposition party, they have their official spokespersons. So stay in that direction. If the argument will not suffice. So like one of the brothers said,
so the men are government booing. The men are government booing.
Well, for me, that's a good. That's a choice of war.
The men are very unserious, man.
So that's a choice of war. But for me, what I would say, the brother is not the official spokesperson of the opposition community, and sometimes personal action shouldn't be general lines.
But the man is purporting to be the official spokesperson.
And we who are the opposition member, we are saying he is not. Today, even my friend from the United Party that would disagree every day, they will agree with me on this point. Now the brothers now they will pick us from supporting on their party.
Listen, brother,
Now
let me just say the one. The born are going the people United Party. I did that to say it too late, Joseph walk out. No, now you are saying cause that now you go to the people United Party. He adding that only he let Joseph walk out.
Yeah, but United Party not really. This man who plays out yours, the man you support the man at them, man working.
Yeah.
You know, that is just salvation of power. So now the one who see no saying come me desperate, come me this. I don't want the desperate fellow.
No, coming better than that man. Because if the man can say dead man walking, then you go. But dead man walking will be your leader.
The man bring all the east shot on you here, the man say your one for.
He said the man are controllable.
Yeah, controllable. The man say out there heavily. At the end of the day, today you eat bad with the man. When the man go and murder to the beginning of your BOD.
No, but listen, trust me, listen, Spencer. Some of my close friends from Unity Party, you know what they say? They say they ain't taking that man serious. That man, they're using him because they know say he has sell his stupidity, so they will make use out of it. Yeah, you think somebody go to that man? My man, you get that man ANC, you can take him serious about that man. I'm serious, man. Yeah.
I just agree with our mentality. You're not taking the man serious about the man get a political party and fuck up and down. You're not taking the man serious. That make us serious even right now.
No, brother. Lead that team, but you know what can happen behind the scene, man. Any man won't show his set. Let him show his set.
For us, most of the things I begin to say in the public at the end of the day, they are suffering from the Unity Party angle. So now, decision I make announced on the radio. When you look at the party decision, technically you can align with what the mayor said earlier.
But I want information sharing. It doesn't mean that you got control.
No, but for example, the mayor said, I don't do that. The Unity Party will go in direction. And at the end of the day, you see the party going that direction. Second one,
no, that one information. You can be in ANC. I can know something from ANC when I say it happen. It doesn't mean that I got control in ANC.
Okay, you put out the difference. But all we say here is.
But the men are government boom. So my middleman government boom. Okay, brother. The men are coming boom. You don't think cause that'll be coming boom? On serious men want to be among serious people. Hello.
Good evening, Sego.
Good evening. Let's hear you.
How are you today?
Go ahead. Let's hear you. Okay, it seems to be you. Good evening.
Good evening, Sego Sherry. How you doing?
Good evening. Go ahead.
This is Harris Freeman calling for Topot community.
Topot or Topot village?
Yes. This is my first time interacting on your platform. I was far difficult to get through.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But you know, the people have nothing else to say. The opposition community have a lack of words. I listen to the other caller that said Heron Costa did not say this, that, blah, 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 blah. But Heron Costa got a follower. Everything Heron Costa said, people always say that true. Why in case a Heron Costa could just say, oh yes, Jabali Koji want to massive bar person, the people will say, oh yeah, it is true. But because they come today, people are saying that Jabali Koji, oh no, he left a been flirting, other people say, oh, Heron Costa did not say that, he did not post it. But Heron Costa was in Liberia years. He posted, on Facebook that people would go to Kerry Junction and go protest for care.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kerry Junction. The people came out. So you want to tell me, say, Heron Costa does not have power?
The man is no longer trustworthy. He goes anywhere, people don't trust him. He's not someone to trust. So the man is just using him now as a government boom Unity Party. They ain't passing around, be making lies on a selfless person that is doing all in his weak way to make things better for.
The man is a blackmailer, and they just putting the line to the people of this country. They have a can sit in America and just say a lot of things on social media, just post all kind of lies. People believe it, so oh yes, it is true.
Okay, thank you. Let me take this person on the line here. I'm going to take roughly 2 more calls. Then we transition from this thing. We transition. We go to now the main thing where the Teller family, they came up with a release over the weekend, and we're deep into it. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Let's hear you.
Yes, Mr. Kenny, I'm calling from Barnardsville.
Barnardsville, let's hear you, sir.
Okay, Sekou, in your own professional journalism.
Don't can ask me. Don't can ask me a question.
And I'm asking you a question. I'm telling you something.
So speak to the issue you just discussed.
You have used the COSA issue to generalize everything in Liberia. COSA is a Liberian. And what he said, are you saying that all Liberians are saying it? Because he's a member of the United Party or he's a member of the opposition?
Okay, so I'm just directed to Unity Party, right? I'm just directed to Unity Party. I'm gonna get to the opposition.
No, directed to himself. Everyone is responsible for himself.
No, but the man said, "Hey, man,
you are a journalist.
The man said, hello, sir.
Your
the man said he spoke on behalf of the opposition. Let the man pose there.
The man said. It is him that said it. You don't know who's supposed to speak for the opposition.
That who's supposed to speak so?
For Unity Party. You don't know who the spokesman for
Also, when Costa saying something, just calm down, Papa, I beg you. When Costa saying something good, then meaning you can agree. So why you want this on the man?
Let me ask you one question.
No, let me ask you, Papa, why you want this on the man? Why you want this on the man? Let me answer the one first. Answer the one first. Sir, you want to answer me, then I'll close you a little bit, then you answer me. Sir, you want to answer me? Okay, thank you. You want, maybe they think we're not fighting yet. That radio been doing here. Hello?
Hello?
Eba, hello? Yeah, good evening. No, I'm not getting anything from you, sir. Let me take this person here. Hello?
How are you, sir?
You're the last caller. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Fudekane calling for this photo.
Let's hear you.
I want to tell you that Costa man is not government for this country.
The men are government born now.
Yes, it's not
even
government.
Your own people then disown him now. You see what they're doing to him on the show?
No, it's what our Costa calls our president mother. Tell when he shot our president. So that kind of people are not supposed to depend on in this country. No longer. They very our Costa.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll take more time on this Duke. This good for nothing, spineless individual. I'll beat sense into his head. Yes. And I won't stop it. And I'll continue it. And I will expose him. And I will tell you about things. And I will tell you the pieces of evidence I have in possession about this criminal called himself Henry. This is a criminal. I'm saying it. He's a criminal. Because I know what I have. I'm telling you, he's a criminal. He says and acts as if to say he speaks for the people. He uses you. And he ruins himself. So we transition now. Let's take a break with the company message. We're gonna come back. We're taking a break to return on the show. Issues of today, for those of you just joining us, you're listening to the program Issues of Today right here on Voice of Liberia. My name is Sekou Sharif. We're taking a break to return and move into something else on the program tonight.
Are you tired with slow internet? Do you want super fast and affordable internet? Telecel Liberia is here to provide all your internet service needs. The internet is moving at a fast pace, and only super fast internet speed can help you keep up. At Telecel, our internet packages are divided into distinct categories: Mega, Optimal, Premium, Elite, and Big Business that suits kids, universities, schools, hotels, beaches, homes, offices, urban areas, and much more. Anything is possible with Telecel Liberia. Get your own streaming box for Netflix, Amazon Prime, Showmax, and more. At Telecel, our amazing 24-hour customer service is there to help you with all your needs. Telecel Liberia, super fast speed, 24 hours technical support.
today here on Voice of Liberia. My name is Sekou Sharif. Inshallah, with the blessing of my parents, I'm going to take you up to 9 o'clock tonight on the show. Let me move on now to this entire thing. Let me say this. I've not come here to satisfy a few individuals. I've not come here to speak to mesmerize you when you sit into your house and say, oh, yeah, they may, yeah. You know, I've come to speak the facts in the interest of the Liberian people. And on to next edition, I will start to say some things. You know, the last time I said this, and I'll say it again. I hope so that our sister, a promising Liberian that lost her life, did not die for some other reason. The thing that happened, we need to know. So over the weekend, the family member of Valley Tale, I know they call him Valley Tale. Yes, Valley Tale. Let me see Valley Tale on the release here. Valley Tale. The family members of Valley Tale, and they came up with a release. And Councillor Gloria Musu's card also came up with another release. Now it has put us in the position now to provide you the hard pieces of analysis in terms of fast-based analysis. I'm going to read you the two releases. And I will weigh in on what the thoughts from the police. And let me say this to Patrick Sulu. If you are not careful as to how you handle this thing, you will be a party to this thing. You need to use your head and do what is right. And do not be afraid because of the pressure from the few less basic individuals that get themselves on platforms and start to say, oh, that John Brown do that one, that John Brown did that one. Then you take people, you be calling them. Do what the law says. And stop being jittering because people say, oh, they men did it one, they men did it one. Then you start inviting people. Let me say this before I go to the main issue. The police director appeared, the Inspector General of Police appeared at the Liberian Senate. I think it was some part of last week. I'll play you that excerpt. And when I watched the issue, it got to me to the extent I said it is important. I'm not saying the police director is not educated. Not why I'm saying yo. But it is better to be educated and self-confidence. Like what I know of myself. No matter what the issue may be or the issues are. There's no way you will ask me to address myself on any issue and I don't. I know how to express myself. The Inspector General sat before the senators and he allowed the senators to somehow intimidate him and he started to contradict himself. The Inspector General at one point in time said the lady was not corresponding to investigators. While they had a release out, they said preliminary findings shows that there were no break into the home of the former Justice Minister Gloria Musu's car. And the same police director said down there, allow the senators, mainly Darius Dillon, to tell him that why I say the police carrying firearm. Simple as it is, let the senators to know that you are heading the police, not the MCC. And you are not the government institution that authorize people to carry guns in our country. But because the police director or the police inspector general has put himself in a position where all the Tom, Dick, and Harris will say anything to him, and he accepts them. That's clear. Simple to tell the senator, say, no, I will not do your job. In fact, I'm not the rightful person for such a question. You have someone to ask. You go to the small arm commission, the people that are there that can give gun to people. But I'm going to bring you the law that created the police and the MCC, and the law gives the authority. I will read it here to the Liberian people. That the state police. Now, if you go through the historicity of how the police was formed and the state police, there were two individuals. They decided to join, to form this thing and decided to separate it because at that time, they wanted control. So they said they want to make it the police, they want to make it the city police. But at that time, in fact, the city police had certain leverage. I will let the Liberian people know. This is what I expected Patrick Suru to have informed the senators or that people that sit there and politicize everything for their own personal reason. You get somebody asking a police director why or city police director is carrying gun. Who authorized people to carry gun in Liberia? That the police? But you forget to know that institution is separate institution. It is not police MCC. They call it MCC. They call our one police. They call our Liberia National Police. They call our Monrovia City Corporation. Two separate government institutions that have two separate functions. Then you ask him police director to give you answer for it. But because the police director too, I don't know, he has a deficiency in the way he answers to issues. Maybe that's the reason why about me, you ask me that kind of a question. I will answer you that question. You know within yourself that you shouldn't have asked such a question because you ought to know better. Now, let's move on to the real issue here. I just thought to raise that issue and let my man Patrick Suru to know that he needs to be on top of his game. Don't let these people to intimidate you in a prayer, man. Yeah, but man can look at you and say, wait a minute. Ah, God. God get paid. Ah, yaka. The man can look at you and say, they can go ask the man, say, why they may carry go. That the man is son the man gone. I may responsibility. Ah, God. Anyway, this too is Liberia. Okay. Here is the release from the Tele family. I will read the entire thing to you. And I will provide you analysis from the two releases. When I'm reading this, I will stop to some point and raise some issues about what you need to understand clear. It reads, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful. That's how Muslims, believer of the Islamic religion, extend their gratitude in the presence of Allah, meaning God. It's a family, friends, and sympathizers of Valley tell us a statement of support. Though community Bourgeois Island, Monrovia, Liberia, and it was done on over the weekend. It says, ladies and gentlemen of the press, we have called you here today to inform the Liberian people our collective response to the unwarranted lies against our brother, uncle, father, friend, and above all, a family who has been accused, vilified, and called a murderer and killer by some unscrupulous radio stations and evil-minded politicians of being allegedly involved in the murder of the daughter of Gloria Musu-Scott without any evidence to prove such serious allegations. And to also express our disappointment with the police for acting on gossip to single out Valley Tele for questioning without any probable cause, even when they had not taken a statement from the bereaved family. Oh yes, they made serious sense. The Tele family in this portion of the release, they made serious sense. And I said this thing. How many persons will fall prey to just a mere gossip or mere propaganda that you will have the police to invite people to go to the police headquarters because someone said something? So what if I sit here on this radio and say John Brown is a criminal? Would the police call John Brown? Why would the police bring herself down to such an extent on mere gossip from people that cannot substantiate, from people that cannot prove beyond all reasonable doubt? You know what they say? The men say, Jerome Brother said, he ain't got no evidence, but the thing he said that just Lee gave for the people to fight. Hey, my country, Liberia. Their country too sweet, though. Their country sweet. All the Tom, Dick, and Harris can just make their own knee and just go by the way. Eh? So Jerome Brother gone let out. Jerome Brother gone. The man finish doing it. You can't hear the man Perry again. Oh. And the man used to be the talk of the town. Okay. Moreover, we want to express our fear to the national government about a potential threat to the life and well-being of our brothers, as the result of the continuous vicious allegations on radios. Such careless remarks on radios and social media could cost him his life or bodily injury, which is fair enough. Someone come and allege on someone and say all kinds of things, and now the police is not even doing anything to even know if this man is being targeted. Okay, you claim or you've invited this man now, you turn this man to be your suspect. Now you should be able to do the needful in terms of also the man being protected, because angry mob could go at this man. People could go after this man and say, no, you did a killing, even though there are no facts to link this man to it. There are no facts. This is also a threat to our family, relatives, and community in that it could result in mob action against us, especially those branding the names Tele. Already, we have had instances where our children in schools and marketplaces have been stigmatized, verbally attacked as a result of this false allegation against our brother and family. We are afraid of sending our children to school because of the news we hear every day on the various radio stations. Just yesterday, one of our children was physically attacked at school because his name is Vali Tele. You listen to that? You see how far some of the people are going? If Jerome Verdier could have the guts to come up and make a lie, what do you think that other people could not go after the family members? We call on the national government to intervene in curtailing hate messages on radio stations in the name of a talk show before it gets too late. That one, they tell a family you cannot control it. If you do that, then you will be suppressing the media, and then you will be climbing down on the media, which the government will not do. This is a very sensitive cause that could turn violent because of the various media interpretations. They think not got nothing to do with media. We will talk what we know. We are seriously alarmed and concerned by the source of the information. Their way is good, which is being used to link our family to the alleged murder. We take serious exception to the allegation of Jerome Verdier, a dapper character of a lawyer, to be considered valid. Jerome Verdier has a track record of manufacturing lies to hunt his perceived political enemies. Jerome has dubiously created false war crime stories on several prominent Liberians in the United States in exchange for money from the U.S. government. We also have credible evidence that Jerome Verdier, Eugene Falcon, and the Spoon Network are on a witch hunt targeting Mandingos and Muslims. This is a very important part. Targeting Mandingos, Muslims. Targeting Mandingos, Muslims. Now, we don't want those days history tells us how bloody some of these things were. And that is the reason why always when things are happening, we need to be very sensitive the way we do things. And someone said to me, they said, if the police is not careful, or if this matter is not handled with care, we might run into something that we don't need to. And if the police is not careful, I foresee, I'm not praying for it, I'm not encouraging anyone, no one should have a second thought that the only way you can address issue is to be violent. No, we will condemn it and we don't encourage you. But if care is not taken, when certain group of people think that they've been targeted, they will want to revenge. I hope the police is taking cue from these things that are ongoing, and so that they can handle this issue with care, and so the rightful thing can be done, and let the needful take place. Because if that is not done, we might not be moving readily. We have followed the reportage of Spoon and many other media institutions since the inception of this case. We are of the conclusion that they are turning this murder case into an anti-Mandingo campaign. We condemn it and ask for the government intervention. These unfounded allegations have caused a serious damage to the image of our family and the larger Muslim and Mandingo community. We can no longer leave our homes without thinking otherwise. We want to sincerely and wholeheartedly sympathize with the bereaved family. We pray Allah Almighty brings to light the murderer of this young lady. We believe that it is diabolical on the part of some Liberians to play politics with the death of a young Liberian. Then they gave the background of Valitali. Valitali fought the war. The men that were soldiers during the wartime. Like all other people fought war in this country. Somehow, some way, they did something in the past. Bad things. And today, some of them serving big positions in our country. Some of them they've been rewarded with lucrative positions. And so, Valley Teller is a Liberian. He deserves to get jobs too as well. He has been reformed. So it is nothing wrong to having, to giving jobs or whatsoever as well. So I don't see any problem with that. Let me go to, and now Valley Teller has been turned to be like one of the suspects because what the police did, pushing Valley, inviting Valley, because you get one person that went on and say, oh, Valley Teller did this and everything, blah, 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 blah. Let me go to the release from Madam Gloria Mususcat, the former Chief Justice or whatsoever. It's a press release for immediate release. Monrovia, Liberia, March 5, 2023. We, Councilor Gloria Maya Mususcat, former Chief Justice of the Honorable Supreme Court of Liberia, and the Chief Justice and the Chief Musu family again extend thanks and appreciation to the Almighty God for giving us the strength, comfort, and endurance to withstand the loss of a progressive and promising family member, assault and humiliation we have faced and continue to face. All persons, especially women and institutions, for the massive show of support, solidarity, and prayers by visiting, calling, or condemning such an inhuman act. The family also thanks the Liberian media, all well-meaning Liberians, and professional institutions, and members of the international community who have continued to take interest in this case to ensure that due process is accorded the deceased and Musu family. However, the family had observed from series of statements from and or by some government officials and state actors being made in the public in attempts to either compromise the atrocity or the crime committed against the family or turn the public against them. All this is in spite of the fact that they are undergoing pain and suffering as a result of the crime committed against the family by unknown person, ranging from murder, aggravated assault, and tolerated threats. It can be recalled that after the commission of the crime, there have been negative utterances from and by top government officials and national actors geared towards compromising the murder and assault on the family. Some of those top government officials and national actors' statements, which are in the public domain, are as follows. Listen. Let me finish first, then I'll provide analysis. You'll listen. On Monday, February 27, 2023, Police Inspector General Patrick Suru, when he appeared before the Honorable Liberian Senate, informed the august body that the bereaved family, who are also victims of the attack that reported the case to the police, have refused to cooperate with the police. On Thursday, March 2, 2023, the chairman of the ruling Coalition for Democratic Change, Mobla Malou, had a press conference at the CDC headquarters in Singa immediately after the Liberian women set in action in protest at the seat of the legislature on Capitol Hill against the murder and assault against the Musu family, said that Charles Musu was not the biological doctor of Councillor Musu's cat and was therefore going to Maryland to find the biological parents of the late Charles Musu. The CDC chairman also said that Charles was killed for ritualistic purpose and further called an autopsy to be conducted on the remains of Charles Musu. On this part, I need to speak something. I attended that press conference. We carried the OB, and I keenly listened to Chairman Molu. Chairman Molu did not mention anything of blaming or saying it was used for they killed that girl for a ritualistic purpose, or the family did it for a ritualistic purpose. There was nothing he mentioned about that. And the next thing, where, they said autopsy issue. I think it's fair enough when people calling for autopsy. I think everybody fighting to see the bottom of this case, to know who are the real doers. On Friday morning, March 3, 2023, Deputy Inspector General of Police for Crime Services, Colonel Prince B. Moluba, appearing on the ELBC Mika Half Hour, said, "Any information I'm giving here must be taken very seriously because I sit as the head of criminal investigation at the police. It will be a shock to people. We are not surprised. It is such case that will be busted. It is a signs we are doing the calculations." We reiterate that on Thursday, February 2023, the day immediately following the incident, the police RG and other officials, including the spokesman, went to the 16th Street resident, Councillor Gloria Musu's cat, and spoke with her. Following that interaction, the police issued an initial statement by and through the police spokesman, Moses Carter, insinuating that the assassin might have been a domestic worker only because there have been hired electricians working in the house of that fateful day, even though there were two initial attacks on the 8th and 9th of February 2023. 2 nights in a row when no higher contractors have been at the Broadview residence. Well, so what? So now, I think from this release to go way down, because it's a long release here, I think someone is trying to crowd baby. Now, there are lots of contradictions coming from, the way things are happening coming from Councillor Gloria Musu's car. Let me be honest here. Listen to this. There should be no reason with Madam Scott from investigators. Because what the investigators are doing, they are not targeting you, Madam Scott, but they are finding means to know the root cause of what has happened. So it is not about you. But when you are a person of interest, when there are indications that even though you are the victim, but you know of what has happened, you will be treated as a what? Person of interest. No matter who you are. Listen to the story. Play the video. When this is the main thing coming to break the whole thing here, we coming to get the real understanding. You're listening to this thing, and you're listening to Madam Gloria Musu's cut herself. Y'all listen to when she had an interview with the journalist when she went at the headquarters of the police. And listen to what she said.
Liberia National Police, where the former chancellor, that's the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, Liberia Musu's car.
We want to just conduct interview with you quickly. Madam, you've been here for hours. Could you tell us what were some of those questions the police posed to you in terms of your knowledge of what happened?
Well, I'd just like to, before I get to that, I'd just like to speak to my interaction with the police since this situation. Many persons don't know the height of the situation. After this girl was declared dead at the detention hospital, I went straight to the home of the Minister of Justice. It was at that time he assigned to police officers to take me. And the next day, being in the days, I can't remember the names of people who came to me. But I had encounter with the police officer. Later on, I was able to understand because right now where I am, it seems like an unending nightmare. And they came and talked to me, and they left. The following day, another group of police officers came to me and talked to me. On Friday, after the week of the incident, the Minister of Justice and some of the investigators came to me and interacted with me. The following week, they wanted to interact. At that time, nobody had told me that they wanted to interact with the other members of my household. The following week, taking into consideration what was happening, and I informed them that at that point I needed lawyers. Because I had been in a state of daze about what had happened, and I'm still in. And when I started listening to what was out there in the media, clearly I said, this is time now. I'm beginning to sit down to have other professionals around me. Because we learn in law school, it's only a fool who takes himself of his counsel. So that's what I asked for. That's what I asked for. So all that has been in the media, both print, electronic, local and international, that have refused to cooperate with the police. This is why I'm speaking to you. From my experience and my training as a lawyer, when investigations are being conducted, the investigating institution is allowed to proceed with this work. And even if the institution is giving an update to the population, there are ways they speak to secure the investigation, the integrity of the investigation. But the whole narrative that has been out there, that the Council of Scott has refused. This is why I'm speaking to you. Because it's from my training, because this is so critical. From my training, this investigation should be handled professionally.
Madam Scott, you must be facing a difficult time, but can you allow me to ask you this question? There have been too many speculations in the public about the issue about one Valley Taleb, who is alleged to have committed this act. I mean, you are the person who physically saw what happened. Can you tell us for the clarity whether indeed you can speak to whether or not Valley is the one who actually committed it?
That information, the source of that information will speak to me. But I know for a fact there was somebody in our sleeping quarters who should not have been there, and this person is the person that killed Alomusi. I know that for a fact.
Did you recognize
She didn't die by herself.
Did you recognize it?
When I encountered this person, I engaged their eyes and I put pepper spray in their eyes. Because it was a question of life and death. It was a question of life
How
and
visual
death.
was that?
To put the spray in the pepper spray in
I
the
mean, your physical interaction with that person.
Yeah. My counsel says I should speak in it.
Any political motive for what happened?
You need to don't go way by that play.
But the whole narrative.
Go back being small. Okay. Fellow Liberians, there you have it. You know, everyone been speculating that, the former Chief Justice said she used pepper spray or what kind of spray, but there was no proof. It was being speculated. So now it has been clear that the former Chief Justice, Councillor Gloria Musu-Scott, has been able to say this before journalists that, she engaged. This is for those of you that are watching, she did it like this. She said when she engaged. So that means she saw the person, because before you do a pepper spray, even a person has something on her face, so it either happened, your light were on, so you saw the person started coming, and you noticed that it was a danger, and you needed to save yourself, so you must have seen the person to send the spray in their eyes. Isn't so? Not I mean talking. Play that thing again so that the Liberian people hear it. Play that thing again.
The Council of Scott has refused. This is why I'm speaking to you. Because it's from my training, because this is so critical. From my training, this investigation should be handled professionally.
Madam Scott, you must be facing a difficult time, but can you allow me to ask you this question? There have been too many speculations in the public about the issue about one Valley Taleb, who is alleged to have committed this act. I mean, you are the person who physically saw what happened. Can you tell us for the clarity whether indeed you can speak to whether or not Valley is the one who actually committed it?
That information, the source of that information will speak to me.
Okay, you listen to Madam Gloria Musu-Scott. Listen. When she was asked by a journalist, and that is Vani, I think Navani. He sounded like Vani, I know. A very good journalist. When he asked Madam Gloria Musu-Scott that we here say that Valley Taleb, like, he don't want to do all the thing and all of that. And she said, the source of that information, the person said will speak. You know what that means? It means what that person must have said. It is not in line with what she knows of. Listen, if that was actually what transpired, that Valley Teller was the one that went and did the killing, Madam Scott could have agreed and said, oh yes, because I saw his face, he's bright, he's black, and so when I did the engagement, that's the reason why he has the mark on his face, and that's the reason why this is on his face, and everything. But she distanced herself from it. Even though she distanced herself from it, Madam Scott has not been justly right in this thing to say, even in her release, to have condemned Councillor Gloria Musu's, to have condemned Jerome Verdier for what he has said, which she knows within herself, it is far from the truth. Because she cannot stand by the account of what Verdier has explained to the public. She knows that it is untruth. But she were able to condemn the other people or raise issue about statements made by other people in government, investigators, but she could not be brave enough because if Madam Scott wants to get the real story or the actual information about the cause of death of a dollar, in that release, she should have condemned Jerome Verdier and said, no, Jerome Verdier should not be politicizing or making unfounded statements. Because what he's saying is not what that transpired. You see the Oman, they say you can burn, you blow, you burn, you blow. In a simple Liberian English. The Oman cannot agree to the account of Councillor Verdier, but she cannot also deny the account of Councillor Verdier. So you see the big contradictions? Because by right, at that point, she should have been clear and said what this man is saying, it is not the account of the Musu's family or we the victims. And also in her release to make her look much more independent and wants to have justice in this thing, she should have been clear in that her release that she accused the chairman of CDC, she accused the investigators, she accused almost everybody. She should have also include in that her release to say what Councillor Verdier has been able to say concerning what has transpired. It is not of the knowledge of the family or whosoever, because she's not in support of it. But it also tells me that maybe she enjoys what the man has done and the damages he has caused. Because you cannot distance yourself from something. And you also cannot warn the person how to do it. But you can also distance and just maybe imagine she's having problem with the people that are investigating. I don't know why would she be having problem with Colonel Prince Moluba when he says that, or when he said, when we burst out some of the information, it will be a shocking thing to the people. The people know what they've investigated. They know what they've gathered. It is not like you and people like Jerome Verdier that are speaking on their self-thing or propaganda issue. So the old man could not even condemn Councillor Verdier. You know, sometimes they say, Mama, they say you can get a good case, but the way you hold it, you can make it bad. No one is happy about the death of that promising young Liberian. But inasmuch we are not happy, you yourself need to handle this thing with care. Yes, you need to handle it with care. Councillor Verdier came up and said, somebody went in your place, and in fact, because of the spray, you say you did, that what caused the problem on Valitale Arbor. So Valitale, in fact, he all of hand get problem. They fought on all kinds of things. There's so many things that Verdier said, you've mentioned them in your statement. But you don't want to accept what Verdier said. And you also don't want to condemn Verdier and wanting to stop misleading the public about your family's affair in which you are grieving and you need the right thing to be done. So we come to the other thing here. There are few concerns and questions that will be asked by Liberians or other well-meaning people when they listen to such your media interaction, Madam Gloria Mususka. Where you said, at the point it was about death and life, and you engage the assassins or whosoever that went and did whatsoever in the building or in your home. When you engage that person, a few questions. Did you recognize the person? Because one of the things that the armed robbers or people that will go to do these things, they don't want you to recognize them. As soon as they notice that you've recognized them, no matter what you do, they will get at you. No matter what you do. Until you can be strong to overpower them. And at times they are not alone. So I'm saying to me, did you recognize that person? Because if you're sending something in someone's eyes, you must have been able to see the eyes of the person before you send it, before you can know that you send it in the person's eyes. So that means you had your lights on. That gave you the means to see that person. So maybe in that mood, you are not, but if they bring people before you, can you identify, or can you just, okay, the person was black, the person tall, the person short, the way I saw the person, and the person had butch hair, or the person had something on their face, you should be able to say that. Was it after the murder that you engaged the person, or when the person entered the place, the person engaged you while you and the person had an altercation, and then your daughter came in, and then the person left you and went to your daughter and stabbed your daughter, and your daughter's body was found in your bathroom? There are contradicting things here. It still gives some doubting stuff. I don't know. So did you send the what they call? You got it. The pepper spray. Now I've asked some security-minded people. They said pepper spray, when they use it on you, in few seconds you can't even stand. It depends if for example the person is distant from you and they use the pepper spray. Maybe the strength could be much more lower. But in a very close proximity, close environment, you're not careful, it will damage your eyesight. So it said that the male to the door more, as soon as you are trying maybe infinicating the girl, or you are trying to enter the Castle Musu's car. But how did the girl come in the picture? Was she the one defending or stopping the man not to enter in the council of room? What really happened? How it happened? What thing that the people not telling us? The police has been able to tell us that there were no break-in into the home of Councillor Gloria Musu's car. Let's play you the interview that the Prince Moluba from the police had. There are some things it will interest you to know. Let's play you it.
Prince B. Moluba is my name, and I serve as the Deputy Inspector General of Police for Crown Services. That is a criminal investigation, criminal intelligence, and Interpol affairs. Okay. That's a very big area. Under me, I have the Major Crime Division, I have the Women and Children Protection Section, and I have the Interpol as well. The transnational organized crime is also monitored and chaired by me. Okay. So we have a very huge task that has been bestowed on us by His Excellency George Manuia, the President of the Republic of Liberia. So we take keen interest into doing our work, because this is a country through which some of us will want to serve our country. So that's what we are doing. We're all due diligence.
Okay, so go ahead. You were explaining.
Yeah, so yesterday we said a couple of things, and today again we've come to reiterating if there's new thing to add up, we're going to add up based on some of the questions that will be coming to us. On the 22nd of February, which was on Wednesday, between the hours 9 to 9:30 p.m., a sad incident took place at the residence, a Brewerville residence of, or we can say a Virginia residence of the former Chief Justice Gloria Musu-Scott, where an alleged armed robbery incident was reported to the police. And in a space of 10 to 15 minutes, the police from Zone 6, specifically the substation around the VOA, Hotel Africa Road, called the Zone 6 Depot 1, responded. Simultaneously, the General Commander for Zone 6 also responded with his team on the scene. But again, before the arrival, the victim had been taken to a nearby clinic called the Fit Clinic. Based on the severity of her situation, she was then referred to the Redemption Hospital on the Bourgeois Island, where she was pronounced dead. And you know, police, when you report on the scene, all you look for, you want to get witnesses, you want to talk to victim, you want to talk to bystanders, collect and all of that. So our officers, being cognizant of all of these formalities, were able to identify 3 persons. Though there were a lot of people who came in on a call from the yard because people were yelling for, help, come to us, the armed robbery and all of that. But there were 3 security personnel in the yard, 2 of whom came from a private security firm called the Genesis Security Firm. And another one, making them 3, is a biological cursing to Her Honor Gloria Musu-Scott, who makes them 3. And according to them, they have not gone anywhere like sleeping or taking nap, as you call it in the law enforcement. They were all active, few meetings, having been served food and having eaten the food. They have done their rounds and they were sitting down strategically, observing. All of a sudden, they heard somebody crying from the house. And to take you further, the house we're talking about is a sealed house. When I say sealed, I mean everywhere is locked. Everywhere is locked. The windows are all mounted with iron bars. The main entry of the house is mounted inside the house before you get to the corridor. We call it the living room or piazza, mounted with iron gates.
Oh, really?
And you have a living quarters where all the rooms people are supposed to be living in. Before leaving the place to get to the living quarters, you got another mounted iron gate, huge ones. And even to Her Honor's own door, there's an iron gate. So it means that place is well fortified.
Right, that's the word.
Well fortified. And so the officers took keen note of all of these, and the guy said, look, we have been here serving security. We don't have access to this house. We don't enter there once.
You mean the 3
guys.
What we call watchmen?
Even the cousin, the older man.
He said he himself not entered.
No. They don't have access to the place. But this fateful night, when they heard the cry, one of them decided to walk to see what was happening. But again, the conversation was that perhaps that little girl who always give the old man, a hard time, maybe she's the one being chastised. So somebody want to see what was happening. So according to this officer, when he got to the window, then the window was slack because they suspect that something was in there. According to the information again, there was pepper spray. Yeah, in the house. So, you realistically, pepper spray, you and pepper spray can stay in this room for 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So you need ventilation, right? So obviously the window was slack so that they can have some air. But then somebody was crying, so the guy, being very curious as a security man, went there to find out. And then there's a lady, I wouldn't call her name now, who started to shout, oh, come for us, there's somebody in the house, somebody in the house, yelling. So the officer said, what? How do I get to the house? He said, do anything to get to the house. Even the person who is one of the officers, he was called to come, and he was called by his name. please get in the house. You're coming out, somebody's here, a strange person is here. I said, but how do we get into the house? And accordingly, her honor herself presented a bundle of key through her window to them, to this man, this older man, so that he can open the main gate for others to come, because community people were very eager to enter to see what was going on. But then he tried over and again. He didn't know the specific key to open that door. So he brought the key back. Meanwhile, the armed robbers and other people stayed in there and handed the key to her honor again. Her honor herself identified the keys to her doors. She opened her own door to get out of the house. But before that is done, the officer who had gone earlier to the window where the lady was shouting had managed to break some of the irons, and he used strength to open the longer part of the bars, making way for 3 of the occupants, 3 ladies, one older one, another middle-aged woman, and a little girl, managed to get out of the house. They got out of the house, they got attempted to move into the house because they have been called them to come because somebody was in there.
So who got attempted to move in the house?
One of the security personnel from Genesis.
Okay.
At the appropriate time, these names will be called.
Right. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. You don't have to.
He attempted entering because the understanding is that there's somebody strange in the house. So they said, no, don't go there, place dark. The place dark. Invite the guys there, don't go there. So he said, well, the same thing that we don't have access to this house is the same. So I can stay right here where he feels somebody could follow to come out. He was standing there to see who comes out after these people.
Right.
So he stood there still. And the other people at the main entry of the house, making way to see whether somebody will come out. Meanwhile, her honor is staying in her room, shouting through her own windows. And then when they returned the key to her, she managed to open the house and came out by herself. Then the deceased was still in there, the victim now. At the time, she has not died. She was in it, and they brought her out and took her to Faith Clinic, and later transferred to Redemption, where she was pronounced dead. So that was it. And then the community people, while the guys were still fighting to find key to open, some of them managed to climb over the fence, and they took object and broke the lock on the main gate. The main gate to the fence. And it will interest you to know that this is a very big yard. The compound is built on 1 acre of land. It's very big. So when they broke the fence, people got access to the place. People came in, but still the house is being surrounded by conscious-minded people who want to see who's coming out. And where they dwell presently and the thing took place is like we can say the first floor of it. It's like a basement type because it's a story building. They are not up, they are down. And so to even think that there's a ceiling, that somebody will go into the ceiling is unthinkable because it's a cash,
it's casted. Yeah.
So okay. There you have it, and Liberians, you listen, and I bring you all sides of it. Now you listen to Colonel Prince Moluba, one of Liberia's best when it comes to crimes investigation. Colonel Prince Moluba is not CDC police. Is not Unity Party police. Colonel Prince Moluba has served serious positions within the police. He even went as far as 102 during Ellen's regime. You listen to the audio. When we say it, maybe you and I want to believe it, but this is an independent person or investigator. So now, Madam Gloria Moses-Cat, she wants to, I think she's trying to play to some political tune here. And I think that will not help anyone. If it is Jefferson Koji, let the truth be told and let him be dead with. If it is Vali Tale, let the truth be told and let him be dead with. If it is Gloria Moses-Cat, she knows of what happened, let she be dead with. You listen to the whole thing. The story finishes. That's why I told somebody, I said, before the weekend, when the police ready to do what they're supposed to do, the whole thing will lay the rest. We'll know who killed the guy. We'll know how the guy died. Oh, yeah. So that other thing, I'm told reliably that the police or some relevant institutions, they reached out to Jerome Verdier. They've asked Jerome Verdier to provide some pieces of evidence as to help the investigation. And Jerome Verdier said to them that what he said, it was a lead to help the police. Ain't you hearing that other thing there? The man went and sat down as if to say he had evidence. And he said he ain't got no evidence, but what he said, it was a lead to help the police in the investigation. Okay, fellow Liberians, let's go to the lines. 9 meaning 0770. What is it? Is it that Madam Gloria Musu's cat is hiding something? Or who killed that girl? How she got killed? How will somebody come in the place, the security and there, they say they not sleep, nothing, they not see somebody going there. And they say the horse, before you enter the horse, looking like you get a lot of bureaucratic ways and everything. How the people enter the house. Now listen to the thing. The keys that you gave the people said not even know how to open the place. They got to give it back to you again, then you give it back to them again, then they open it, then you open the door yourself peacefully. So one would deduce that from what we listen to Prince Moluba saying, either maybe the occupants in the house must have used that pepper spray on the late whosoever that caused the death. So the occupant, maybe they did something. Yes, it might be true that they use pepper spray. But maybe they use the pepper spray with that. My man, there's some of the things I'm hearing and some of the things the community people, me, I just won't bring it because they why everything. But the thing deep more than what we hearing. Yeah. 07709079070 07709079070 0880907 are the two numbers to join us here on the program. Their case now come to a logical conclusion. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir. You listen to the Prince Boluba and you listen to all the things we said, including Madam Gloria Musu's cat.
Yeah, I listened to it from the onset. Let me be very honest with you. Let me just say, you are my journalist of the month. Like many people, they read a communication from the Scott family. And from that of the police, they didn't bring out these logical conclusions just brought to the disco. I hope many Liberians are listening to you. Those people who are just going with misinformation, misguided communication, and they just continue in that people. I hope they are listening to the sense you continue to make. Listen what Prince Mama said. And from what I have deduced from this, that little girl was murdered in that house.
Sure.
Out of two, tension between she and another person, and Madam Scott got involved in the process. It led to someone death. Someone took that, trying to get, but she doesn't want to be honest with the public.
I'm told, I don't have facts.
She doesn't want to be honest.
Brother, I'm told that the daughter, the biological daughter of Madam Scott is the one that is in the hospital and she's a drugs addict.
Okay, thank you.
I'm telling you something, sir. She's a drugs addict. She must have been under the influence of drugs. They had some altercation and everything. But anyway, the true story will come out.
Like you said, once people that are number on drugs, once they are within that stop, they take harmful weapons. They take things to just stab you. They can never. There's no second thought. That what I'm about to do, it is wrong. They don't have any conscience like that.
Thank you, my brother. Let's take a few more calls. Next is the news. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Let's hear you. Let me take this person here. Good evening.
Hello, my dear.
Yeah, good evening.
My name is McIntosh from Raleigh.
Raleigh, go ahead.
And brother, I want to tell you, I spent almost 25 years at the security. So I've worked for security. We are there to save our bossman life as well as your son. And the horse are in there, the security is somewhere, they can't go in our house. And when the person broke in that house as a security and the down there sounding in the neck.
Yeah.
So the person lives in a house that did either. And the woman she know about it.
Yeah.
She knows I'm a security man. I spent almost 25 years as a security. If they were unrolled, they would kiss my security that were sound water.
Oh yeah.
Because, yeah, why I'm on couple, I'll not allow unrolled to enter in my face to attack my boss or my boss today. I will defend or defend him.
Yeah, you will see the person.
Yeah, so right now, the security that be killed by somebody unrolled. Before the arrow can go, I mean, it's good that they can go in the woman horse. They can enter there.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Let me make this other sense here. You see, Madam Gloria Musu's car, Mama, the way you running with it, you will indict yourself. Part of the release, they said they took the body and carried to Simose. Let me be simple English. Then the Simose say to the family that they can release the body and everything. But Madasko, you as a well-landed person in Liberia, how with a person being killed by a new man, you take that body and carry it to funeral home for early burial? What's the motive behind that? What's the motive? Are you not going to be calling, for example, that body shouldn't even have left the hospital? You should have kept that body there. Like you said, you ran to the justice minister, tell the justice minister that the girl died at the place there. We need to know the cause. We need the people to investigate. But why you took the body and carry it to Simose? What's the motive of you taking the body from the hospital and take it to Simose for embalming so quick? What's the motive? These are things we need to be asking Madam Gloria Musu's card. Nobody come and play that kind of a sympathy. Is, oh yeah, we sympathize with you for the loss of this girl. Nobody can get life. But the action of Madam Gloria Musu's card tells us different thing. What's the motive behind this old man to take the body from the hospital to carry to Simose for burial when you know that you were attacked by a new man and a new man killed this guy? You are lender or legal luminary in our country that understand what the law says. Then you, in the release, you see, that's why I say they will be doing it until they expose themselves. You included it in your release that the people holding the body, the Moses say, the justice minister and the police call. Yes, the justice minister right. The police is right because that body needs to be investigated. Why must you even take the body from the hospital and take it to funeral home when you know that this girl did not die of natural issue? It was due to a new man, according to you, that went and murdered this girl. You as a learned person, you don't think it is necessary to have this case to be looked into before the burial? And you carry it to the funeral home? What was the motive behind you, Councilor Gloria Mususka, to take that body to the funeral home? Are you okay with the way in which he died? That's the reason why you felt that it was okay now you took the body to the funeral home so that the funeral home can do what it's supposed to do and go bury? Mother Scott needs to answer to more questions here. She needs to answer to more questions. Let me take 2 more calls. The news is up next. Tomorrow we'll talk more on this thing. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Let me hear you.
Thank you very much. This is Sugu and I'm calling from Toko, Baji. Let me say this. In Liberia, there's something we're doing here now good. They made a lash, Joe Vodia. I think this man should be the reform person of all the council.
The man say he ain't got no proof. He said the thing he said that just leave him get to the police.
Okay, why? Because valid they know that the man can speak, and also they judging the man by a past record. Everybody have a record.
So the man get right to sue. The man get right to sue. So it's proving that valid teller did not do anything. Hello.
Hey, Seku.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
Go ahead.
I want you to connect me somewhere. When the police, the brother was explaining, Mr. Moluba, He said the security said they were outside, but then they heard the noise in the house. But then in that period now, my radio cut off and I was finding way to put battery in the head. How did he conclude? Please connect me from that side.
Oh, my man, we're not on correcting. Okay. Hello? Yeah, good evening. The news.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, go ahead. Call the news.
Yeah, I called from Johnsonville.
Go ahead, sir.
You know, this whole issue is of domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
And this domestic violence that has caused want to exercise a high restraint on foul play. Which of course she's doing it to mislead the public.
Sure.
Cover her own daughter iniquity that she caused. But then you see, all these things happen for the scripture to come to pass. But let me just read this one verse. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto the wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. So the justice Israel is acting like a wise man, and as God is acting like a wise woman. The police IG is also acting like a wise man, and then the police director is also acting like a wise man. There's no proper investigation.
Okay. Yeah, no proper investigation. Then you go take body, you carry the Moses. The last caller. Why you carry the body there for? Hello?
Hello?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Papa. How you coming on?
Go ahead, Mama.
Yeah, I really enjoy the way you talk, Nana.
Oh, yeah.
The way the woman behaves, she not supposed to do like that.
She behaving like a suspect.
Yes, when somebody died like that, they sort of do the party and call it government to come and take the party.
Mm-hmm.
They the one would know, they would judge over the party before they carry the party. And what thinking, the security know about it.
No, but the security people from the house, they not tell the police say, they not see anybody entering there.
That was the man answer a kid again.
That's the whole thing say, oh, Mama.
That woman, you have a good question.
The things are confusing. All here, we are sad we here, we confused. Hello?
Hello, good evening to you, Joe Secretary in studio, Joe. Thank you very much for your topic on discussion this great evening. This is Alfonso A.S. Kamara calling for District number 10 to represent my resident transformer community. I'm listening to the basis listed. They are also listening to the audio of Chancellor Goro Musu Scott. You see this thing? We should not let to politicize the issue. This is human life.
Mm-hmm. The Oman said making it. Yeah, you right, my brother. The Oman said conflict in the whole thing here. Hello?
Hello?
Good evening, sir. You the last caller. Let's hear you. Oh, my man, you got plenty of person on the line. You get on the line, you talking, you made a thing to be doing different thing. Up next is the news. Listen, let me tell you something. The family members of Valley Teller, you got a right to sue. In fact, you know what you should do? You should sue the police for creating that embarrassment to your brother, for just going to the extent calling a man for something he's not connected to. You must sue the police, oh. Valley Teller family, you must sue the police. Oh yes, you sue the police for causing trauma to your brother. Yeah, the real thing will come up. Madam Gloria Mususka, tomorrow we'll be back. I mean, there are some things I know I've heard from some of the people claiming to be, we will bring that out to the public. We wait on the police to come up with the factual information and everything surrounding the death of this promising Liberian young lady that could become maybe the next president of our country. My name is Sekou Sharif. Tomorrow we'll be back here on the show, Issues of Today, right here on Voice of Liberia.
Sekou Sharif coming to talk. Sekou Sharif say, Liberia.